are moments in pop culture that arrive without warning. Moments that burst into existence like lightning. Moments that make the world collectively gasp. Moments that transform an ordinary stage into the center of the universe. And on that unforgettable night, when the lights hit the polished floor and the crowd roared louder than thunder, one question electrified the atmosphere. What on earth was Bruno Mars about to do? Nobody knew. Everybody felt it. And not a single soul inside that stadium, or watching behind a screen halfway across the world, was ready for the whirlwind that was about to unfold. Because when Bruno Mars stepped forward, mic lowered, smile sharp, rhythm pulsing through his bones like electricity, something unexplainable happened. Before anyone could blink, before anyone could even exhale, the world watched him unleash a performance that would go down as one of the most explosive in modern music history. They say he broke the stage, but that doesn't even begin to cover it. A night that redefined showmanship. The event was supposed to be just another high-energy Bruno Mars performance. Smooth vocals, charismatic presence, maybe a cheeky grin or a wink at the camera. But from the moment the crowd started chanting his name, there was a tension in the air, a kind of shimmering anticipation that hinted something much bigger was brewing. Fans later described it as a pressure in the chest, the kind you feel seconds before fireworks explode. Bruno himself seemed different, focused, locked in. If the spirit of every funk legend, every R&B icon, every dance pioneer who came before him was pulsing through his heartbeat. And then it happened. The opening beat of Finesse dropped, and the stadium didn't just erupt, it detonated. The lights flashed neon. The speakers thumped like a heartbeat on overdrive, and Bruno Mars moved with a level of precision, swagger, and pure joy so explosive that people swore they felt the ground shake. The finesse dance that made history. The choreography was smooth, too smooth, sharp, too sharp, fast, too fast to be human. People watching live said the moment felt unreal, like they were witnessing something that had been rehearsed in a dimension where gravity didn't apply. He slid, he spun, he glided across the stage with that patented Bruno Mars groove. Half retro, half futuristic, all magic. Every beat hit perfectly. Every step was a punchline. Every flick of his fingers had personality. It was the kind of dance that makes you forget to breathe. Audience members later revealed they didn't even realize they were screaming until their voices were gone. Others said they stopped recording because they simply couldn't look away from the stage long enough to check their phones. And then, of course, came the moment. The moment when Bruno dropped into that sudden, impossible footwork sequence. The one that shot across social media like a meteor. The one that made dancers around the world pause their screens, rewind, replay, slow down, and mutter. How did he do that? It was that exact moment, caught on millions of cameras from thousands of angles, that gave birth to the viral phrase, Bruno Mars broke the stage. The stage that couldn't handle Bruno Mars. Technicians backstage would later confirm something unbelievable. Bruno slid into his footwork and snapped back into a sharp pose. The sensors beneath the stage actually registered a shock impact far beyond the expected threshold. In simpler terms, Bruno Mars didn't just perform, he overpowered the stage. Was the stage literally broken? Not shattered in pieces, of course. But the reports were enough to spark headlines, memes, and debates all over the internet. Fans joked that the stage sued Bruno for emotional damage. Others argued the stage simply wasn't built to handle that level of finesse. But the truth was this: Bruno Mars had delivered a performance so intense, so precise, and so full of raw kinetic energy that it left the technical team shaking their heads in disbelief. Even the lighting crew admitted they almost missed cues because they were too busy watching him. A viral explosion that no one predicted. Within minutes, clips of the performance flooded social media. Within hours, the hashtags trended worldwide. Within a day, the internet became one giant Bruno Mars dance floor. People weren't just impressed, they were obsessed. Dancers started recreating the choreography. Celebrities commented. Professional choreographers posted reaction videos analyzing every micro-movement, calling the execution unreal, inhuman, and the cleanest live footwork of the decade. One viral comment summed up the world's collective reaction. This wasn't dancing. This was a cultural reset. And honestly, that wasn't an exaggeration. The moment Bruno Mars hit that final pose, the stadium didn't just erupt in applause, it exploded. It felt as if every person in the building had been holding their breath for the entire duration of the dance, only to release it in a tidal wave of screams, cheers, and unfiltered disbelief. Some fans covered their faces, unable to process what they had just seen. Others jumped up and down uncontrollably, shouting Bruno's name like a chant summoning a musical god. A few even stood frozen, hands over their mouths, tears in their eyes. Because sometimes greatness doesn't just impress you. Sometimes it overwhelms you. And Bruno? He just grinned. That signature Bruno Mars smile. Mischievous, glowing, soaked in sweat and adrenaline, spread across his face as he looked out over the sea of fans who had just witnessed history. He had given everything he had, and then some. You could see it in the rise and fall of his chest, the glistening sweat dripping down his jawline, the way his shoulders rolled back as if to say, "Yeah, I did that." The moment that froze the cameras, even the cameramen, professionals who film superstars for a living, were visibly shaken. One of them, caught on a behind-the-scenes livestream, muttered, "I swear, I almost forgot to keep filming. Who moves like that?" Another crew member was seen wiping his eyes, claiming it was just sweat. But the internet had its doubts, because when a performer reaches a moment of pure, natural excellence, even the people behind the cameras become fans. And that night, everyone was a fan. Fans were not ready. At all, social media erupted instantly. The livestream chat froze. Phones lagged under the weight of millions of comments. Global servers genuinely struggled under the stampede of fans trying to screen record, replay, remix, and share the moment Bruno Mars did the impossible. Comments flooded in. "What did I just watch? This dance cured my depression. Bruno Mars is not real. I refuse to believe he's human. That footwork should be illegal. This is better than my wedding. I swear." Some fans even joked that Bruno Mars should be banned from stages because he's too powerful for building safety regulations. TikTok dancers tried to recreate the footwork within hours. Most failed. Spectacularly. One creator sobbed dramatically into the camera. "My knees said no. My ankles said no. My whole soul said no. Bruno Mars is a menace." The clip went viral. Experts step in, and even they were shocked not long after the video spread. Dance professionals, choreographers, athletes, and even some scientists stepped into the online discussion. Many attempted to explain what Bruno Mars had done. Few succeeded. One professional dancer, known for analyzing high-level choreography, slowed the footage down to 0.25 speed and still had to pause repeatedly to understand each move. His conclusion? This isn't finesse. This is black belt finesse. Another expert compared Bruno's footwork to advanced martial arts steps, noting how he managed to keep perfect rhythm while shifting weight at angles that most dancers would lose balance. A biomechanics professor posted a breakdown explaining how Bruno achieved certain gliding movements without losing speed or control. Her final remarks stunned the internet. "You cannot teach this. You can only marvel at it." Bruno Mars wasn't just dancing, he was defying physics. A backstage reaction that says it all. While the world obsessed, the Backstage crew was still processing the performance in real time. Dancers who had performed with Bruno for years admitted they had never seen him go that hard. One backup dancer, still panting, said, "Bruno told us he was going to turn it up a little. He did not turn it up a little." Another dancer laughed nervously. "I think he just invented a new dance style right there." Even the drummer backstage pretended to faint dramatically, yelling, "Stop him. The stage can't take this much excellence." And honestly, he wasn't wrong. Lighting technicians nearly missed cues. Rumor had it that the lighting team almost delayed a transition because they were too stunned watching Bruno perform. One technician later admitted, "My hand was on the button, but my eyes? They were locked on Bruno."